This is Ninth Lit, and we're in Act 2, finishing Act 2 of Henry V. And we're talking about parallelism, and parallelism was when you take a similar, when you take equal thoughts and write them in similarly grammatical fashion. For instance, when you write thesis statements, you probably taught that you have to have three things, right? Haven't you been taught that? Right, those three things are in no particular order. I think you could probably say you could rearrange the order of those three things, right? And it doesn't really change your argument, right? It's like in math, we talked about this, that thing about math where 3 plus 2 equals the same thing as 2 plus 3. You can change the order of the numbers sometimes, and it makes. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. In language, there are times when the order doesn't matter. The three things are similar. And when you have such a situation, you need to be able to put them in parallel form. In this case, it's the verb, the subject, and an adjective. So you have seem, verb, subject, they, grave is the adjective. Come, verb, they, subject, of noble family, it's an adjective phrase. Seem, verb, subject, they, religious is an adjective, and so forth. That's why it's parallel, because they're written in the same form. You would instantly be a better writer if you incorporated that into your writing. Instant. You wouldn't have to get any smarter, you wouldn't have to pay any money, you wouldn't have to go take a class. When you use parallel ideas, like in thesis statements, you would instantly be a better writer if you wrote them in parallel fashion. There's more on the next page. All right, so he is now, Exeter is now going to officially arrest him. Who is our Exeter? All right. Yeah.
Answer number 20 and 22 and 23.
Yeah, let's come back to that. Let's finish it. We're just almost finished, then we can go back to 20. We'll start at 20 and answer any that we didn't answer. So Exeter is going to arrest them. We need Scroop and Cambridge. Who are they?
Cambridge.
Scroop? Okay. Who's our Henry? We know. Oh, need I ask who Henry is?
You.
All right, that'll get us through. Gray, Scroop, and Henry, and I think Cambridge, and that's it. All right, so Exeter.
I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Richard, Earl of Cambridge. I arrest thee high of treason by the name of Henry, Lord Scroop of Masham. I arrest thee high of treason by the name of Thomas Gray, Knight of Northumberland.
Scroop.
Sorry. Our purposes God just hath discovered, and I repent my fault more than my death, which I beseech your highness to forgive, although my body pay the price of it.
For me, the gold of France did not seduce, although I admit it was a motive. The sooner to effect that I was intended,
So that's a reminder of they were paid to do. That makes it even worse.
but God being thanked for prevention, which I in sufferance heartily will rejoice, beseeching God and you to pardon me.
Now ready, faithful subject, will rejoice at the discovery of most dangerous treason that I do at this hour. Joy, early years myself, prevented from a damned enterprise my fault, but not my body parted in summer.
Okay, 25 asked you, do you think they're honest? They all seem happy that they got caught. Do you think, I mean, it's your opinion, that's important. What do you think? Are they happy, or are they just trying to get a lighter sentence?
I think they're trying to get a lighter sentence.
All right,
You probably don't want to die. Then again, I mean, it's probably better to die back in the Middle Ages, because, I mean, we saw what happened to Ganelons. They weren't very nice to people.
they're probably not gonna be nice to them either. Anyway, it's up to you, but I tend to think that there's some truth to that. But, of course, there's no definitive answer. Let's keep going.
God acquit you in his mercy. Hear your sentence. You have conspired against our royal person, joined with an enemy proclaimed, and from his coffers received the golden earnest of our death, wherein you would have sold your king to slaughter, his princes and his peers to servitude, his subjects to oppression and contempt, and his whole kingdom into desolation. Touching our person, seek we no revenge, but we our kingdom's safety must so tender, whose ruin you have sought, that to her laws we do deliver you. Get you therefore hence, poor miserable wretches, to your death. The taste whereof God of his mercy give you the patience to endure, and true repentance of all your offenses. Bear them hence. Now lords for France, the enterprise whereof shall do you as us, like glorious. We doubt not to a fair or lucky war, since God is so gracious, hath brought a light this dangerous treason lurking in our way, to hinder our beginnings. We doubt not now, but in every rub is smoothed in our way. Then forth, dear countrymen, let us deliver our puissance into the hand of God, putting it straight into expedition, cheerily to see the signs of war advance. No king of England is not king of France. Flourish.
All right, so look at questions 26, 27, then we'll go back to 20. 26, what do you think the tone, the words have to convey it. You could read anything, as we found out the other day, and over exaggerate it. You could make anything sound angry, but it wasn't angry. So what do you think the tone of these words are? How do you think, what is Henry's tone in judging these people?
I think he seemed more disappointed than anything.
That's a really good nuanced answer. You sense a disappointment there, definitely serious, though good. I like that. I think he has to be. These are friends. You know, you're angry, but you're disappointed. Look at 27. How does the uncovering of the traitor's plot lead Henry to believe that he will be successful in invading France? Got a big game this afternoon, and last thing you got in math class, you made 100 on the latest test, and you're leaving the room. What are you going to be thinking? Yeah.
Okay, so, because God, like, revealed that they were traitors, he thinks that God will help them further and.
Right. We would say, in worldly words, it was a good omen. That's not a Christian thing. There are no omens but it is a good, he sees it as a good sign.
I was gonna say, like, maybe, maybe France is gonna be, like, kind of down that they're traitors, I guess, got revealed, so they won't, I don't know, they just aren't gonna feel as confident because they got, like, shown
Sure.
that they were traitors.
Sure. All right, before we leave this and go to number 20, look at these words. Tell me, what do you notice here? This is line 177 or 8. Wherein you would have sold your king to slaughter, his princes and his peers to servitude, his subjects to oppression and contempt, and his whole kingdom into desolation. What is that an example of that we just finished talking about? Look at it. It says, wherein you would have sold your king to slaughter, his princes and peers to servitude, his subjects to oppression and contempt. His parallelism. Notice subject and then in infinitive. His princes and peers to servitude. His subjects to oppression. His kingdom into desolation. Touching our person. Okay, that's it. All right, so that's another example of parallelism. Page 53? 63. And it's lines 179, 180, and so forth. All right, let's go back to 20. What is Henry's demeanor like when he greets the traitors, and why does he behave this way?
It tells me to get, like, comfortable.
Why does he act comfortable?
To make them
You got one.
To what?
To make them.
To put them at ease. He's trying to really spring it on them. So the more surprised that they are, the better.
It's kind of like, the two sonnets.
Yeah.
Names, these, like,
Fat before the slaughter. It's exactly like that. That's really good. All right, so, alliteration on page 55, turn there. It should be easy to find.
Understood.
Where?
Understood.
It might be, I haven't found it yet. All right, tell us.
So service shall with steel sinews torn.
You can hear it really strongly. That's definitely a good example of alliteration. What's the purpose of alliteration? Why would an author use it?
Kind of grabs your attention.
It does. It creates emphasis and it creates sound. And sometimes you want to make it sound a certain way. Like when you read that, Ben, you could hear it really strong. Maybe you were exaggerating. I don't think so. So service shall with steel sinews. Not to make too big of a deal of it, but that S sound is the name for it. It's called sibilance. It's when you hear the S sound, it's sibilance. It might make you somewhere sound of a snake or something. You know, I mean, authors do think that. I don't know if that's what he was thinking here, but yeah.
I missed 18. It might seem as though the action in scene 1 is relevant to the plot, but when the commoners fight over Nell, quickly mirrors the numbers fighting over France. What were they fighting over? What was that?
Remember, they're fighting over Nell, and
Who's Nell?
the hostess.
Oh, they both won.
He's got it. Go ahead.
It's two people fight, two countries fight.
Right, okay.
Which shows you that you can't blame governments for war because it's humans and an individual fight as well. Right, we did 21, 22. How does Henry reveal his knowledge of the conspiracy against him? Is this the right choice? Well, how does he reveal it?
He gave them the papers.
Right, pretending that they are the commissions or promotions. Instead, they're the accusations. All right, 23. How does Henry use the traitor's lack of mercy?
Repeat that one more
He pretends that they're the promotions, the commissions, but they really are the accusations, the charges, the arrest warrants.
How did they kill people in this day? Like, how was execution
I
done?
bet we would hang them. They could torture them in England.
Guillotine.
They would have that.
That's fun.
They did, I don't know if they used the guillotine, that's it's French, but they did, they
And then-
came, Charles V or one of the Charleses there was beheaded.
Is that
No, they just take a sword and
But
beat
isn't it true,
What?
like,
Yeah,
those
that
are-
right too.
I'm sorry,
Is that right to do with
chicken.
what do you
Is that
ask?
right?
Guillotines don't get dull. So
Oh,
when
what's-
they chop them-
that's an opinion.
Oh, first one.
Oh, yeah, during the French Revolution, when it's like, they use the guillotine.
All right, so we are back to 23. How does he use their lack of mercy against them?
Because he was talking about some guy that like cussed at him, and they didn't want to show him mercy. They're like, just punish him, use him as an example. So he's like, well, y'all just said that, so I'm not gonna be
Right,
merciful.
he's setting them up to be able to use that against them, yeah. yeah. We should be up now to 27, which we've answered. Everybody good? Yeah.
What was 23?
What?
What was 23?
We just said it. Would you repeat that for Caroline? Amelia?
Oh, 23? Henry talks about a guy that just was in jail and that like cussed him out, and they tell him not to show mercy, so he kind of uses that against them.
Yeah, they all urged him to be severe with the man. And Henry kept saying, no, we want to show him mercy. No, don't do that. And then seconds later, they're now in a position to want mercy, which he wouldn't give them.
So he used a story to turn it back on them?
All right, so I think we're done with this. Turn to page 65, and we're back to the commoners. They started with the commoners, scene 1, went to the nobles, scene 2, back to the commoners, scene 3. Last time we saw the commoners, Pistol and Nim had shaken hands, and they were over Nell, and so they were gonna go to France for what purpose? What are these, money, they're gonna try to make a profit. All right, so we need our hostess. Who is our hostess? All right, who is our Pistol?
I am Pistol.
All right, who is Bardolph? All right, who is
Oh, who's that? No, I was Bedford.
We need them. Who's them? All right. The boy, I'll read that. You want to be the boy? Go ahead. All right, so it just brings to an end the scene about Falstaff. Who is Falstaff?
The
Guys,
sick
I'm up
guy.
here. What?
The sick guy.
The sick guy who is Henry's, Prince Hal's father figure in the first two, the past two plays. So
Is it
what's
pretty or pretty? Pretty. Yeah, that's right.
pretty?
Pretty.
All right, we'll start with those two.
You want me to start?
Yeah, those
Pretty,
two.
honey, sweet husband, let me bring these two
Stains.
satins.
Satins. Stains.
Stains.
I was gonna say satins, but it's stains.
Okay. No, for my manly heart doth earn. Vardal, be blithe, dim, rouse thy vaunting veins. Boy, Bristol, thy courage up. For Falstaff, he's dead, and we must earn
Okay,
better.
underline it. We never saw Falstaff, we never met him, but if you were a reader of these earlier plays, that would have been an important moment. All right,
It's weird that they never gave him a cool death if he was a big character before.
yeah. All right, Bardolph?
When I were with him, wheresoever he is, either in heaven or in hell.
Nay, sure, he is not in hell. He's in Arthur's bosom. Thank you. If ever a man went to Arthur's bosom, he made a finer end and went away, and it had been any Christom child. He had parted just between 12 and 1, eve a turning of tide. For after I saw him fumble with the sheets and play with flowers and smile upon his fingers' end, I knew there was but one way, for his nose was as sharp as a pen, and he talked of green fields. Now, Sir John, quoth I, what man be of good cheer? He cried out. God, 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 three or four times. Now to comfort him, bid him he should not think of God. I hoped there was no need to trouble him with any such thoughts yet. So he bade me lay more clothes on his feet. I put my hand into the bed, and I felt them. They were as cold as any stone. Then I felt his knees, and so upward, and all was as cold as any stone.
They say he cried out of sack.
That he did.
Bardolph?
And of woman.
Nay, that he did not.
Yes, they did, and said they were devils incarnate.
He could never abide carnation. 'Twas a color he never liked.
It's, the color, he didn't say carnation, she said, or he said incarnate, so she doesn't know what that word is, so she thinks it's another word. So
Oh,
this
it's
would have
where
been
they
new.
make fun of commoners, right?
Yeah. Boy is
He said once the devil would have him about women.
He did in some sort indeed handle women, but then he was
rheumatic.
rheumatic and talked of the horror of Babylon.
Do you not remember he saw a flea stick upon Bardolph's nose, and he said it was a black soul burning in hell?
Well, the fuel is gone that maintained that fire. That's all the riches I got in this service.
Shall we stop? The king will be gone from Southampton.
Come, let's away, my love, give me thy lips, because look at my shadow and my movables, let senses rule, word is pitch and pay, trust none, for oaths are straws, men's face are living gates, and hold fast is the only God, my dove. Therefore.
Cavito.
Eh?
Cavito, means beware.
Therefore, Cavito, be thy counselor, go clear thy pistols, yoke fellows in arms, let us to France like poor speeches, my boy, to suck to suck, for there is blood to suck. And that's but unwholesome food, they say. Touch your soft mouth and march.
Very well, this is.
I cannot kiss. That is the humor of it, but I do.
Let Hustley appear, come close at the envy.
Farewell, adieu.
All right, so,
Wouldn't they have both been acted by Danny? Like, weren't all the characters acted by Danny?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
There's anything wrong with that. But
We will finish Act 3 tomorrow. We go to France here in this last part. And then we'll start Act 3, that's Act 2, we're still in Act 2. We'll go to Act 3 when the battle has started, not the battle, but the war, the invasion has started. So, remember, we have a test on Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, Thursday. Wednesday's a half day, right?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about Grandparents' Day?
I think it's next week.
Okay, that's next week. That's not a half day, is it? It is?
A zoo.
All right, you can go, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see you. Yeah, see ya.
He sounds so
Therefore, the genes are probably fine. Also considering that it's the last living species, then the genes are probably.
For what?